What if you could live up to your potential and inspire others to become the best person they possibly could be? What if you knew exactly who you were supposed to be, how you were supposed to do it, and all of the things you needed to get done in order to become your best self? What if you had a message that was placed upon your heart, that was prepared for the people with love and passion, and that you couldn't let sit in the dormant dark? What if you could live up to your potential and stop procrastinating and stop underachieving and start becoming the person that you always knew you should be? What if you knew that inside of you there was a message, there was something that you were dying to share with the world that you knew would be able to help people? What if you stopped waiting? What if you realized that right now is the very best time to get it? What if you understood that tomorrow is never going to be promised, so you need to go get it? What if in that very process of becoming your best, you were able to inspire others to do the same and even more? What if your thinking has been limited? What if you're capable of so much more than what you thought? You just haven't been able to unlock and tap into your truest potential. What if you don't even know the beginning of who and how great you could truly become? What if you've been called and you can no longer ignore the sound of destiny? What if you've been called and you can no longer ignore the sound of fate? What if the only thing separating you from the very life and future and destiny that you want is a little bit of work? What if destiny is right there? That's what the infinite evolution is about. Have you ever known exactly what you wanted but struggled to achieve it? Like in your heart of hearts, you knew exactly what you wanted to be and where you wanted to be and how you wanted to get there, but for one reason or another, you simply hadn't executed. Have you ever had the feeling that at whatever age you are, you're behind where you should be, or that at whatever state in the game you are, you could be doing better? I can relate because I've been there. And even though I'm not exactly where I want to be, even though life isn't perfect, I have come to learn and realize a few things in life, and it will be my complete honor to be able to share them with you in hopes that I can help somebody else learn and grow and evolve and become better. I'm a work in process. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I'm constantly trying to improve. I'm constantly seeking to be 1% better, 2% better, 5% better, 10% better, whatever I can get, and that is the infinite evolution. The infinite evolution is about living up to your best self. The infinite evolution is about understanding that who you are and what you're capable of, it's all within you, and you get to choose. Nobody gets to set your destiny. Nobody gets to choose who you are. Nobody gets to decide what you become more than you do. You are the number one most important factor in your life. You will be with you from now until infinity. And so if you can find a way to tap into your mind, your discipline, your thoughts, the way you read, the way you acquire information, the way you talk to people, the way you accept love, the way you communicate, all of these things are a part of you evolving and becoming your best person. The infinite evolution isn't about just money or finances or being a creator or being a father or being a gentleman. The infinite evolution is about becoming the best person that you could become and then sharing and spreading that light with others. When we think about the idea of evolution, we generally don't think of it as a conscious thing. But if you broke it down, if you really look at evolution for what it is, all it is a series of hundreds of thousands of millions of tiny iterations of something happened. Well, if nothing else, I know for a fact that we have control over the small moments. When we think about the idea of evolution, what is it? How long does it take? How does it take place? Does anyone actually control it? Is it even possible to have it say in what evolution is? They'll want to talk to you about the idea of you controlling your own evolution. For whatever time you're going to be here on earth, for whatever time I'm going to be here on earth, I'm going to choose to focus on becoming and doing the best that I possibly can. I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to be excellent every single moment. But if my mind is right, then my actions will follow. If my thoughts are in the right place, my actions will proceed. And so first and foremost, it's improving and evolving the way that our minds think. That way we can improve our actions and then our outcomes. And so when we talk about evolution, we're not talking about dinosaurs or hundreds of thousands of years, because you don't get that. All you get is the life you're given, and none of us know how long we have. And so if none of us know how long we have, and if time is even half as precious as what we say it is, it's super critical that we are diligent, we are intentional, we are focused, and we are deliberate when it comes to the matters of who we are and what we are becoming. It's 1,000% fact that there are outside factors that are trying to force and influence and control and change the decisions you make. So you got to be hyper conscious about making sure who you allow in, what you allow in, and what you allow to go on. Here's the one. When we think about the idea of evolution, it generally isn't something that appears to be conscious. But when we think about the life of a human, our growth, our changes, our improvement, if every single day we're doing the right things, we're consistent, we're improving, eventually we'll see our own evolution. Eventually we'll see that by changing ourselves on a day-to-day, on a small, tiny, micro level, we can make some massive changes over the long run. But it starts with the tiny moments. You can't win a year until you can win a week. You can't win a week until you win a day. You can't win a day till you can win an hour and a moment and a second, and it all breaks down into that. Before you can evolve into the much greater state, you gotta learn how to win those tiny moments. But if you don't understand the importance of the tiny moments, and if you can't consistently build the tiny moments to create something bigger and more special, you'll never get to reach that infinite evolution. On many levels, it does seem like a paradox. You want these massive changes, but in order to get there, you have to make micro changes. And it doesn't matter the area of life that you want to change, improve, or even sustain in. You can't sustain something if you can't win the small moments. You can't win 5 years of sobriety if you don't have one moment of sobriety. You can't be consistent for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years if you can't even be consistent for one moment. If you can't even start and begin and start winning and building up the momentum to get you the moments that will lead to the evolution. Evolution is something that can be conscious when we're talking about the life of a human. Our lives are short, but if you think about our lives, you just stretch it out and look at the entire width of it, you have an opportunity to do something special. The true beauty of the human experience is that with goodness, with the right things, we can spread like wildfires, and we can share ideas, and we can share greatness through not only words but actions, and we can start to create some real change. But we gotta start somewhere. And it starts with ourselves. Part of the infinite evolution is focusing on changing and improving yourself first so that you can spread out to others, so that you can be a light to others, so that you can be a beacon of hope, of love, and positivity and justice for others. Yeah, we live in a world where it seems to be so much wicked and evil and hate and negativity. Who's going to be the light? That's what the infinite evolution is about. The infinite evolution isn't about being a follower or doing what everyone else is doing. It's realizing that even in the face of evil, even in the face of doing what's popular, we can still do what's right. We can still be what's best. And we can still be the ones who set the example for generations and generations to come. These words can live on forever. And if I'm not the only one, if there's literally millions and millions of people who are ready and willing and passionate and dedicated and unwavering in their commitment and support to just be better, to just do better, to simply live better. Because if we know better, and if we think better, and if it's in our hearts, we can create some real change. But it has to start with us. We have to understand, respect, and appreciate just how important time is. Because none of us are promised another second. None of us are promised another day. And so every single one that we get, every single moment that we have here in the present, we got to treat it as a gift. That's part of the infinite evolution. Realizing that this moment you have right here, right now, is powerful, it's special. And of all the beings in the universe, you get to be here, clear of mind, conscious, listening to a message like this or whatever else you've chosen to focus on, and you can do something. That has to mean something. And if it doesn't, we're going to make it mean something. For many years of my creative journey, I was crippled by things like perfectionism and procrastination. And all these things really did was just slow me down. But if I had someone there to tell me, hey, focus on this, do that, try this. What about this strategy? Could you do this? What about implementing this? There's 1,000,001 different things you could be trying, but if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right knowledge or know-how or willingness to do what it takes, it's going to be hard to get it done. I always knew that I wanted to be great on some level in life, but I really had no idea how. I've always been talented at things, but how exactly I was going to get to the point I was going to get at, I never really knew what it was. And I also had a thing where I really didn't want to share my voice. Yeah, on a personal level, in real life, I would talk to people and I would counsel people and I would give advice and we would share ideas, but never would I have thought in a million years that I would be staring into a camera with the possibility of reaching millions and changing lives. I don't claim to be perfect, I don't claim to know it all, but what I do know and what I do have within me, I gotta share. I gotta give to the people, because if there's any chance that I can help make someone better, if there's any chance that I can help someone else evolve, if there's any chance that through my journey and through my growth and through my mistakes, somebody else can learn, why would I not do it? It would feel wrong if I didn't. So I gotta keep going. I gotta keep sharing. And so not only must I do the things that it takes to evolve myself, I gotta do the things that'll help evolve my community. I gotta do the things that'll help evolve the people. I gotta do the things that'll help lead this world in a better position than what it was when I got here. I'm a man of action, not just of words and thoughts and deeds. So doing things and not just talking about them is what I'm all about. I haven't always executed in a way that was perfect or efficient or effective, but as I continue to grow and learn and get better and acquire more knowledge and information and create new contacts and develop more skills, I realize that sharing is caring. I realize that our time here is so precious and I can't just keep everything inside of me. I must share it with the people. There was a time in my life where years would pass and I wasn't creating like I should. Where years would pass and I wasn't making music or videos or taking photos or promoting my business or doing any of the things like I should have. Well, the same way I was underachieving as a creator, I was also underachieving in life. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing the things that were productive. Well, as a great samurai once said, if you can know the way broadly, you'll see it in all things. The way that I was underperforming as a creator, as a filmmaker, as a videographer, as a photographer, as a producer, as a director, in so many ways, as far as creatively, I was underachieving in other ways too. And so the only way for me to improve was to look inwardly and be honest with myself. If I can't keep it a being with myself, if I can't keep it completely 100 with myself, how can I be honest with anybody else? If I can't be honest with myself about my shortcomings, where I need to improve, what I need to do, the steps I haven't taken, and the steps that I should be taking, if I can't be honest about those, I'm never going to see the change I want to. And at a certain point, I finally realized I'm not where I want to be. I'm not seeing the growth I want to see. I'm not developing as I need to. People from the outside world might look at me and think he's doing okay. But for me and what I know I could and should be, it wasn't enough. For me and what I could and should be, I wasn't achieving at the level in which I could and should. And it was only because of one thing. My mind wasn't focused in the right way, and so my actions wasn't preceding it. I was distracted. When you think about this world, there's so many distractions available to you. Whether it's relationships, whether it's social media, whether it's video games, whether it's TV. Not to say that any of these things are bad, but learning how to prioritize life and learning how to focus on what's important is really a thing. How many times do we wake up in the morning and the very first thing we do is hop on our phone and doom scroll? Is hop on our phone and play a game? How many times do we wake up and immediately thank God or the universe or whoever you believe in for another moment to get it? How many times do you wake up and you look at those goals? How many times do you wake up and you look at those goals and you understand that you're here for a purpose? How many times do you wake up and you realize this is a blessing? How many times do you wake up focused and driven to get it? And how many times do you wake up and immediately hop on that phone? Now, despite the fact that I wasn't planning and preparing and doing the things that it took in order to become the best version of myself in so many levels, I still expected that I should have those things. I still wanted and desired to be fit. I still wanted and desired to be wealthy. I still wanted and desired to be successful, but I wasn't doing the things that it took to get there. What does it do to a person to know exactly what it is you want, to know exactly how it is you need to get there, but never do the things it takes in order to reach the top? What does it do to a person to have a goal, to have a dream that they're passionate about and fiery about, but at the same time have something that's blocking them? The only thing blocking me was me. The only thing in my way was me. The only thing preventing me from getting to where I needed to be was me and continues to be me. I'm not saying there's not outside factors or influences that also play a role. I'm saying none of them are great enough to stop me if I'm focused, dedicated, and committed. And I would imagine the same is true for you too. But how focused, dedicated, committed are you really? Are you distracted? Check your screen time. What are you spending your time doing? How much time are you spending playing video games versus focusing on your goals and purpose? How much time have you spent being distracted and focusing on things that don't matter versus being hyper intentional and doing the things that it takes? How disciplined have you been? How dedicated have you been when it comes to making those small decisions of whether I'll do the right thing or do the wrong thing? Are you making the right choices? And if you're consistently making the wrong ones, what are you doing about it? If you're making the right ones, what are you doing to stay in that path? This is what the infinite evolution is about, constantly being on a path to improvement. Evolution is something we think about generations and generations to come, but you only get your life. So in your life, from infancy to the last moment you get to breathe, you should be trying to evolve. You could be trying to evolve, but are you? Are you trying to get better? And in what ways are you doing it? Is it efficient or is it clunky? Is it researched or is it freestyled? Is it diligent? Is it dedicated and disciplined? Or is it free for all? Is it do what you want? Is it do it how you want? Is it do it when you want? Is it do it urgently or is it do it as you please? All of these things matter and you get a choice. But every single day, every single moment you live, you're one moment closer to the last one. So what are you doing about it? Do you realize it, or are you burying your head in the sand and trying to ignore the problems? I realized that at a certain point, I would be miserable if I didn't do what it took in order to reach the top. At a certain point, I realized I didn't want to make it to my deathbed and not know that I had left every single thing on the line. I don't want to get to the end of the road and feel like, what if, or maybe, or woulda, coulda, shoulda. The feeling of regret is far worse than the feeling of failure. I can't handle failure. I can't handle not knowing. And so I gotta get it. And so I have to get it. I gotta try. When I think back on life, most of the regrets I have come from things I didn't do, from actions I didn't take, from precautions I wasn't aware of, from safety and consistency and things that I could have done but I didn't do. Never the things that I did. So no longer will I live a life of inaction and procrastination and inactivity. I gotta go get it. But not only do I gotta go get it, I gotta share it with somebody else. Because if I can inspire a spark, and if I can create a fire in even just one person, how could I not do it? How could I not share something that's so contagious, so courageous, that it will literally change your life? How dare I not share that with anybody else who would be willing to listen? Ultimately, what I've decided to do is take action. I'm not going to change every single thing about me overnight, but I can constantly keep placing drops in a bucket, and it can keep building and building and building and building and building until I got something special. I'm not looking for an overnight change. In fact, I'm here to embrace and love the process, the day-to-day, the everyday, the tiny moments in between. I want to embrace and love those times. I want to cherish and appreciate my time working. I want to value and take heed of that time I have with my loved ones. I want to really embrace the moment and live in the day-to-day. Tomorrow isn't promised. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. But right here, right now, the present is a gift. And so even though we're talking about evolution, even though evolution is something that comes way, way down the line, it's something that we're in constant pursuit of. And if we're in constant pursuit, that means even right now we're going after it. That means even right now we're getting it. That means even right now you got a chance to go and make it happen. But will you? What are you doing? What happens if you decide to set goals and live by a purpose and embrace accountability? What if you start to look at yourself as the architect of your own life, future, and destiny? Yeah, you can pray to God, but as much prayer as you do to God, God doesn't just give it to you. You got to go and work. Even if you believe in and know that God is the head of your life, when you pray to God, you don't pray to God to just do everything for you. You pray to God for the strength to make it happen. And once you got the strength to go and make it happen, that's what you do. Life, God, the universe, nothing or nobody is going to just hand it to you. You got to go out there and get it. These are the things that I wish somebody would have told me. These are the things that I wish I would have known. And these are the things that it would be criminal if I didn't share with you. So here I am, sharing it with the world. And if you know anybody who could benefit from it, share it with them too. Whether it's the video, whether it's the knowledge, share it with them. Help somebody else grow. Help somebody else hit their infinite evolution. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes, because I make so many mistakes and so many errors. It's not even funny, but I'm still back at it. Things don't always go perfect. Things don't always go right, but I don't even need them to, because I'm in constant pursuit of evolution. I'm in constant pursuit of just 1% better. I don't need to be 1,000% better or 1,000,000% better, just 1% better. And sometimes even when you can't be just 1% better, just staying the same. Sometimes when you can't stay the same, maybe just dropping off 1%. But if you drop off only 1% instead of 10 or 15 or 20, that's something. There's going to be some days where you take some L's. How do you handle that in your mind? There's going to be some days where victory is literally snatched from the jaws of defeat. But also, there's going to be some days where defeat is snatched from the jaws of victory. And what happens when your win seemed like it was in hand, but you lose it? What happens when everything you thought was going to go right goes left? It's the mind that's going to get you right. It's your mindset that's going to keep you on track. It's your mindset that's going to keep you going. And it's your mindset that's going to protect you and keep you in the place that'll get you to the next one. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be inhuman. You can make mistakes. You will make errors. You will fail. But how do you handle it? This is part of the infinite evolution. I talked about how the infinite evolution is literally a series of moments, building and building and building, moments upon seconds, upon minutes, upon days and weeks and years and decades. Well, even before we get to that, the tiny planted seed of an idea, of a thought, is everything. When you face those moments of adversity, what seed has been planted? What seed are you planting inside of your mind to let you know we can handle this? Or there's another way. What words are you telling yourself? My next video is going to be about how you talk to you. But how are you talking to you? And what is your brain telling you in those moments? What is your brain telling you in the moments where you're winning? What is your brain telling you in the moments of stagnation? Is it telling you it's okay? Are you choosing to tell you it's okay? Or are you choosing to focus on better, to do better, to change, to grow, to evolve, to reevaluate, to research, and do what it takes to get to where you want to be? None of us get to complain about not being where we are when we didn't do the work. So do the work. Otherwise, that regret is so powerful, and I never want you to feel that. It's going to happen, but if we could limit the amount of times, if we could limit the amount of damage, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for no errors. We're looking for growth, better. And so once you get to that place where you are evolving and getting better, the best thing about it all to me is there comes a peace with that. There comes an ability to relax and be comfortable. Not saying you're not moving or growing or improving, but there's a mental calmness in knowing that you're on the right path and doing the right thing. And what if you could get there? What if all the anxiety and anguish and fear and panic and pain is all due to you not knowing where you should be or not executing on it? What if the stress and being broke and being tired and being out of shape and overweight, what if all of it is within your control? You can't change everything right now. In fact, trying to change everything right now is the worst mentality to have, because you didn't just get here in one moment. You got here with some sort of an evolution. Years and years of series of events taking place got you to this moment. So you can be the architect, you can be the crafter of your own destiny to get you to an even better one. But you got to be conscious about it. You got to be diligent and you got to be intentional. Otherwise, somebody else is going to plan that thing for you. In order to achieve wealth and build those habits of the successful, to be fit, to be your best, to have a strong mind, to have a strong body, to have a strong spirit, strong relationships, strong everything, it starts in your mind. But how intentional are you being? And where are you being intentional? Where are you placing your time? Who are you giving your energy to? Who's in your ear? What are you allowing into your eyes and your soul and your spirit? What if I could be a person? What if I could be a thing? Even just for a moment in people's life, even if for a moment in people's day, there's just a little bit of positivity. What if in a sea of negativity, I could give people just a little bit of light, a little bit of hope, a little bit of love, and I could just put them on their way? What if this little bit sparks a revolution? But you got to be conscious about it. It can be powerful and a little bit scary once you realize the immense power you have in your hand to shape your life, future, and destiny. But it's not even just your life, future, and destiny. It's those around you. The people who are around you see what you're doing. They're feeding off of it and into it. What are you giving them? What are you showing them? If you got kids or siblings or loved ones, what are you feeding into them? What are you pouring into them? Sometimes they don't have enough to pour into you, and you have to pour into them. Sometimes things aren't fair, and you got to do what you got to do. But where's your mind? Where's your mindset? And what are you allowing to dominate what's going on up here? Because in your mind, in your head, between those two ears is where all of the evolution begins. So you must first and foremost control your mind. When you realize just how much control you have, it forces you to look inward, to look at yourself, and that can be scary. Holding that mirror up and looking at and facing your own demons, your own flaws, your own shortcomings is hard. Being honest that you might be a procrastinator, or you're not that disciplined, or you need to create structure, or you haven't done X, Y, and Z, or that you need to do X, Y, and Z. That's not always easy, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. And it doesn't mean it's not worth it. In fact, most things that are worth having, many things that are worth having, don't come easy. The most important things in life, the best things in life, if everybody could have them easy, might not even be worth having. To get them, you got to put a little bit on the line. To get them, you got to make some sacrifices. But are you willing to make those sacrifices? And if not, why not? If not, how long are you going to wait? At a certain point, you got to realize that when you're serving multiple masters, you can never really be loyal to any of them. So are you serving a master of recklessness or diligence? of intentionality and focus, or freestyling and doing things as you please, of feeling and emotion or thoughts and logic, of fear and procrastination or focus and planning. Either way, you get the choice, but which masters are you serving? Are you serving a master of overeating and bad health decisions, or are you serving a master of great health and living the right way and treating your body as a temple? Either way, you get a choice, but what are you doing? Which masters are you choosing to serve? When I say masters, I'm not talking literal. We're talking spiritual. But which spiritual masters have you chosen to take heed to? Either way, you get a choice, but what are you choosing? The changes won't be instant. They will be gradual. And so as you gradually learn to change, as you gradually learn to evolve, you'll gradually see growth. And eventually you might even see parabolic growth. You might even see substantial growth. But you got to start with the tiny step first. You can't get to 1,000 steps before you get to one. You can't get to 1,000,000 miles before you get to one. Start with the first step and then keep going. Once you get the first step and the second and the third, maybe you can walk a little faster. Maybe you can lead to a jog. Maybe you can start sprinting, and maybe you can go full speed. But it starts with the first step. You got to take the first step. And you got to start building a pattern of consistency so that you can build the habits of a winner. Because at a certain point, being successful and being at that place where you want to be, at a certain point, you got to realize it's not something that you do one time and it's done. This is something you embody. This is something that's consistent. This is something that ain't about to change because it's who you are, not just something you did one time. You do it consistently because it's who you are, not just a thing you did once. This is evolution. And that can't be true unless you do it consistently. You do it one time, you just did it one time. You do it multiple times over years, you evolved into something greater. So do the thing where you allow yourself to evolve to something greater. And so we got to be honest with ourselves. Now maybe as a kid you don't have as much say, but most adults have enough free will to be able to create and change their own destiny. You got to be accountable. Nobody is coming to save you but you. Because I wasn't where I wanted to be, I had 3 choices. Remain stagnant where I was, no change, no growth, no nothing. Slide back and go even further. Or the third one, improve. Seek to be better. And I don't have to be 1,000,000 times better, just one little step. And so slowly, when it comes to food, when it comes to working out, when it comes to my editing schedule, when it comes to shooting, planning, promoting, social media, all of the things, baby steps, tiny steps, and I'm getting there. I'm not perfect. I'm not where I want to be, but man, I'm getting there. And this journey to be there, I'm embracing it, I'm loving it, and I'm hoping I can share some of that with somebody else too. I want to share and help others. I want to inspire through action, and I want to inspire through words. And so I don't want to just be one who talks about it and does it on my own in private. I want to be one who shares it with the world so that others can benefit from what I benefited from. And yes, the reality is for some it's going to be far more difficult than others, but you can do it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk, but it's going to be worth it. And think about what you're risking if you don't do it. Go do the thing. Go make a plan. Go get it done. If you have no idea what to do, go watch some old videos. Go watch somebody else's videos, but get it done and don't make excuses. Because in those final moments of life, nobody wants to be wondering and thinking, man, I should have done it. Or what if I had tried? Or what if I would have? That can't be me. It's so important that in my final moments, I don't want to be thinking I would have done this or I should have done that, or maybe if I would have. I want to be confident that even though I may not have been perfect, even though I didn't get everything done, I left it all on the line. I did what I could. And there's no what ifs or regrets or woulda, coulda, shouldas. It's only execution. And if I fail, I fail. I can live with the results if I know I did everything I could. Urgency is everything. We don't have forever. So I got to get it now, and I got to make sure that I'm sharing with people how to get it right now. I can't wait a single another moment. I don't have time, and neither do you. So let's go get it. Because I don't have forever and you don't have forever, it's so important that we move with a sense of urgency. Because tomorrow isn't promised. And yesterday is gone. So let's take advantage of this gift that is right now. It's beautiful. But what are we doing with it? By honoring your time and filling it with goodness and good people and experiences and love and the best parts of life. I'm not here to tell you just work all day long and grind yourself to the bones. I'm telling you that life is best when you have the best experiences with the best people and you actually embrace love and relationships and friendships. By honoring your time with the best people, and experiences and relationships and communications, and your body by treating it well, and your mind by treating it well, and your kids by treating them well, and your family by treating them well. And so what we want to do is fill our time with the best experiences and people and loved ones and opportunities and everything that we can possibly fill it with, because we don't know how much we have. We want to embrace it. Because we don't know how much time we have, we want to fill our time with the best experiences and people and family and food and music and laughter and games and experiences and concerts and fun and joy and all of it. And all of it is possible. But we gotta be hyper intentional about what we choose to focus on. Do you feel compelled to be better? Do you feel compelled to help people? Do you feel compelled to share something with the world? Do you feel compelled to see others do better? Do you feel compelled to become your best? That's what this evolution is about. That's why we call it infinite, because it doesn't stop. However you want to call it, however you want to look at it, we know that in this thing called life, there's some forces of bad and evil that are never going to stop. So what's forces of good got to keep going too. And so if you feel compelled to be better, if you know you want to succeed, if you felt like an underachiever, if you know you are where you want to be, if you know you got something you want to share with somebody, if in any way possible you feel like you have a spark, like you got some inspiration that you want to share, this is for you. If you feel like you want to be better, this is for you. If you feel like you know you want to make a difference, this is for you. If you know that you have it in you to make an impact, this is for you. If you don't, it's okay. Maybe this ain't for you. But if you know there's something inside of you that wants to evolve and grow and do better and be better, this infinite evolution, you are why I do this. I do it for the people, I do it for the love, and I do it because I want to make sure that I don't just keep this thing inside of me, I spread it like a wildfire. And if there's any chance that I can spread just a little bit of hope, a little bit of love, a little bit of inspiration to somebody else, why would I not do it? That's part of my evolution. Spreading and sharing in the best way that I could. There was a time where it was okay for me to just think and ruminate these thoughts, but at a certain point, to keep them inside and share them with no one, well, that wouldn't be quite right. So here I am, giving it my all. I may not be perfect, these videos might not be perfect, I might stumble, I might not say things in the exact correct way, but if I can help anybody, I did my job. And that's all I'm asking for. This is the infinite evolution. At least I can rest knowing that I gave it my all. Whether I succeed or fail, I gave it everything I had. I tried my hardest. I did everything that was within my power, and it just wasn't meant to be. This is the infinite evolution. I don't think I won't have any success. I'm pretty sure that we can get some amazing things done. And so if you feel compelled to be better, to do better, to succeed, to help others, to spread love, to make change, to see the world better off than it was when you got here, this is for you. This is the infinite evolution. If this thing doesn't work out for whatever reason, I'll know that I tried. I know that I gave it my all, and I won't have any regrets. And so at the end of the day, my goal is simply to leave this world a little bit better off than it was when I got here. I've taken enough. Now it's time for me to give. And so give I shall. This is the infinite evolution.